Thank you. Senator Lankford.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I'm in a gratitude to be able to be here, but I'm also in a unique position that this has been an ongoing conversation for quite a while, that Senator Klobuchar and I have worked extensively on the Secure Elections Act. In addition, I have the opportunity to be able to serve on the Intelligence Committee and our Homeland Security Committee. We spend a lot of time dealing with this issue. And I want to just be able to make a couple of quick statements to this committee. One is, there is a false belief that the threat is just from Russia. I'd like to dispel that today. Second, the intelligence community and DHS cannot maintain situational awareness of all the cyber threats attempting to target our critical infrastructure alone. This is a space that's going to require partnership across government with industry and independent groups. Third thing is this: the type of cyber threats we face call for a fresh look at our cyber policies that is desperately needed, and that we need to establish the elusive cyber doctrine that we've talked about for now a decade and a half. First thing on this, while it is clear that the Russian government tried to interfere in the 2016 elections, Iran, North Korea, China, and outside hacktivist groups, as well as domestic hacktivist groups, have demonstrated capability and in some cases an effectiveness to be able to reach into our critical infrastructure. We can look at 2014 when North Korea reached into Sony Pictures because of their frustration over a movie with a relatively simple piece of malware, created $35 million worth of damage to an American company because they were mad. Since 2012, Iran has targeted multiple critical infrastructure sectors. They've also targeted foreign and domestic banks and caused millions of dollars of damage. In March of this year, the Justice Department charged 9 Iranians for working with the directive of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps to steal academic data from hundreds of universities in the United States and abroad. And they were successful penetrating those universities and stealing that information. The FBI recently issued a warning saying that hackers in Iran could potentially use a range of computer network operators, from scanning networks for potential vulnerabilities to data deletion attacks against the United States, based on United States-based networks in response to the U.S. government's withdrawal from the JCPOA. Russia's cyber attack that cut the electricity to nearly 250,000 Ukrainians 2 days before Christmas in 2015 should remind us of their capability and of their use of this type of technology. We've seen Russia also do something different now, and several other countries have also followed suit. Where in the past we talked about foreign governments engaging in this, now occasionally the hackers are foreign government individuals, but sometimes those governments are also hiring freelance hackers to also do their bidding, where they're not connected to their government in any way other than financially. We also see now where independent hackers are hacking into systems to be able to gather information and then to be able to find out if governments are interested in that, and where that information is then for sale, where no government instituted that, just a hacker thought someone might be interested in it. If you go on the dark web right now, you can hire a hacker to reach into almost anywhere on the internet, and they will reach in and try to do what they can through a simple dark web purchase. These are very different days as we deal with critical infrastructure and protecting our systems. It's not just dealing with a single government that may be mad at us. It could be for any number of reasons, that someone's mad at a city, someone's mad at a county official, someone's mad at a state official or a political party, or just their ex-girlfriend. And everything starts going sideways because they hired someone to maliciously attack. Second point, now that I've given you such great news, this does require a whole-of-government approach, public-private partnerships, but someone needs to be responsible. A whole-of-government approach often means no one is watching it because everyone's supposed to be watching it. I'm very encouraged by the experts that you have coming in the subsequent panels. I think that will bring a tremendous amount of insight to this. But I've also been working recently with my colleague, Senator McCaskill, to address the supply chain issues. Relatedly, I'm also pleased to see DHS's work on voluntary supply chain risk management programs, which we need to be able to do through the process. DHS National Cybersecurity and Communications Integration Center, their work is certainly progressing, and they're collaborating with and receiving threat indicators from many more organizations than they were even a year ago. And their National Risk Management Center initiative is clearly a positive step in the right direction. Was also pleased to see the recent Tabletop the Vote in 2018, National Election Cyber Exercise, which I think was a good example of helping advance the dialogue about preparedness, especially in this case on elections. That tabletop exercise was something to try to help not only just the Secure Elections Act, but to be able to establish where are points of weakness. The tabletop exercise helped bring participants to a common understanding of best practices for addressing risks and help build the right relationships before attack occurs. This type of exercise is something that should be executed across all the critical infrastructure sectors and is necessary for national preparedness. We need to look at how to simplify and isolate our most critical systems infrastructure. I'm not talking about just return to analog, but engineering the complexity out of our system to reduce the attack surface. Furthermore, it is exceedingly important that we capitalize on the collective expertise of independent researchers to identify ways to strengthen the resiliency of our infrastructure. As we know around this circle, all the answers aren't coming from government. We need to find ways where government is integrating with the private sector. Finally, given the dynamic nature of the threat environment, we must consider our broader policy for responding to a cyber attack and to be able to deal with what I call the elusive cyber doctrine. If our enemies don't know what we will do in response, they may try it. If they know what we'll do, and they know that we'll mean it, it is a deterrent from the beginning. I'd much rather deter than respond. Our adversaries must know that they will endure significant costs for a cyber attack on our infrastructure. This effort has to bring together input from State Department, Intelligence Community, DHS, Department of Defense, federal, state, local law enforcement, and I look forward to us finally getting that deterrent in place in the days ahead. Thank you for allowing me to be able to be here and be able to join this conversation.
Thank you, Senator Lankford. You're one of the strongest voices in the body on this issue, and we appreciate your coming to the committee. Senator